Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing a what's next on undefeated Super Welterweight Contender Xander Zayas, as he stayed active and got a victory over Damian Sosa on the September 27th ESPN undercard. Yeah, so that was a good win. Well, I mean, it was a stay busy win, for Zayas. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So this win for Zayas, not a major win. He was coming off the victory over Patrick Teixeira, just staying busy, fighting on the undercard, and got a 10-round decision win over Sosa. Solid win, convincing. A little underwhelming. I think people want to see knockouts. But, Zayas is not a big knockout guy. I think he's 18-0 now with 9 knockouts. Only 50% of his fights have ended by knockout. But he is entertaining, and we're going to see what is coming up, as the big question is what's next for Xander Zayas, Zayas, number 3 in the WBO right now. That's his highest rating. He's rated like 6 in the WBC and 7 in the IBF. But 154 is one of the deepest and most talented divisions in boxing. There's 140, there's 154, and there's heavyweight right now that are the 3 deepest divisions. So let's run through and see what possibly could be coming up for Xander Zayas following this win. We start with the number 1 WBC WBO unified champ, Sebastian Fundora. Not likely. Fundora is going to be fighting Errol Spence early in 2025. Even if he holds onto the belt, because there's talks right now that the WBO could strip him and award it to Crawford. Even if that happens, a fight with Zayas is not likely. They're not with the same promotion. Zayas is still on the rise. He's not a big name, and there's so many big names, and Fundora is sitting at the top right now. So I don't see Fundora and Zayas being possible. Then you got number 2 former champ, Tim Tszyu. Well, you have Tim Tszyu. Sorry, not number 2. Tim Tszyu, the former champ, he's lined up to fight Bakram Murtazalayev on October 19th for the IBF title. If he's victorious, a fight with Zayas is not going to happen. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's a big name. If he beats Bakram, he's going for those big names. Now, if he loses to Bakram, I still don't think they fight because they're with different promotions, so I don't see it. Then you got Terrence Bud Crawford. Not likely. Crawford could be upgraded to WBO champion, or he's going to get a crack at Fundora, or the winner of Fundora Spence, if the title goes on the line in that fight. So Crawford and Zayas, not likely. Crawford's on a whole nother level, and Zayas is just not there to be considered right now. Then you got former champ Jermell Charlo, former undisputed champ Jermell Charlo. Charlo's says he's making a comeback at 154, but he's a PBC guy, and he's too big of a name for Zayas, so this one won't happen either. Then there's Israel Madrimov. Madrimov, whatever you say, the former champ, he's fighting Sergey Bohachuk on the Fury Usyk undercard. If he's victorious there, it's going to put him right in that serious mix right there, so he's not going to fight him. If he loses to Bohachuk, I guess the possibility is there, but I really don't see Zayas, like Bob Arum, wanting to risk Zayas by taking on a guy with Madrimov's skill level. So I'm not seeing that one. Then you got Bohachuk. Bohachuk, kind of the same thing. He's a guy that's fighting Madrimov. If he beats Madrimov, he's on that level above Zayas, so wouldn't consider it. And if he loses to Madrimov, that'd be 2 consecutive losses, and I don't think Bob Arum would want to risk him against Bohachuk, and Bohachuk might not want to fight him anyway, so I don't see that one. Then there's Erickson Lubin, not likely. PBC guy, not likely to fight Xander Zayas. Then there's Jesus Ramos. Would love to see the fight, but Ramos is with the PBC as well, and Lubin, as I said, what's his name, is with Top Rank, Zayas. Then there's Brian Mendoza. I guess the possibility's there if they could set up some kind of an eliminator, but I think Mendoza is with the PBC. So potentially that fight could be there, but I'm leaning towards the less likely. Then you got IBF champion Bakram Murtazalayev. If he beats Tim Tszyu, he's on superstar level. If he loses, maybe the possibility would be there. Maybe Murtazalayev would want to get back in the mix by fighting a guy like Xander Zayas if he comes up short. But would Zayas want that fight? Because if Murtazalayev, it depends on how Murtazalayev were to lose to Tszyu. If Murtazalayev gets his ass whipped, maybe Tszyu wants to test him out and say, hey, I want to see where I'm at. But if Murtazalayev fights his ass off against Tim Tszyu, would Zayas want to take that step and take that risk? Maybe, maybe not. I still have to lean towards the less likely no matter what, but I do think there's a possibility there. Then there's Virgil Ortiz Jr. Would love to see the fight, but I don't think that Bob Arum would want to risk, him versus Virgil Ortiz, especially Virgil Ortiz is lined up for a title shot, so his guys might not want to take that fight anyways, even though I think Ortiz would be the favorite. But he's coming off of a victory, but a shaky kind of victory over Sergey Bohachuk, so might not be the thing that his people want. Then the guys outside of the top 10, Magomed Kurbanov, who dropped out, would he want to return following a knockout loss and take on a guy like Zayas? If he wants to get back in the serious mix, he will. But I don't know. I don't think he will. So we got to see. Michel Soro is a good option, in my opinion. Michel Soro used to be in the top 10. He fought hard against Madrimov a year or two ago. He's a veteran, older fighter. I think this is a good opponent to test for Zayas to test himself out against. I think that one would make sense. Now, he's not ranked, though. Soro is not ranked in the, he's not ranked in any governing body, I think. Yeah, he's not really ranked, so that'd be a tough fight to make, but I still think it'd be a fight that might be worth looking into. Then you got Yoenis Tellez. Tellez is coming back soon. Too risky of a fight for Zayas to take. Then the guys that are ranked highly now. Let's take a look at this. So you got Errol Spence. Not gonna happen. Spence is fighting Fundora. He loses, he's probably done. If he wins, he's on too high of a level for Zayas, so that's not gonna happen. Charles Conwell, WBC #2 contender, are actually dropped to #4 now. Maybe him and Zayas is an interesting battle that could happen, even though Conwell is a DAZN guy. It might be a fight that could be possible to put together. Abbas Baru is actually ranked #1 in the WBA right now, so I'm not sure he'd risk that. And then you got Josh Kelly and Vito Mielnicki. Mielnicki still ranked #4 by the WBA. That's his highest ranking. I mean, he's not really ranked in any other governing body. Josh Kelly is an interesting one because is Josh Kelly going to fight at 160 now that he made his debut there? Didn't look great. He didn't get the fight with Liam Smith that he was supposed to get, so it's kind of an underwhelming performance. He had to take on an opponent last minute and took on a nobody and got just kind of a workman-like decision. With him being #2, Zayas being #3, if Tim Tszyu goes on and wins the WBO title or wins the IBF title on October 19th, he's no longer the mandatory, the #1 contender in the WBO. So that makes Kelly and Zayas the top 2 contenders. Would they fight each other to become a mandatory at some point to the eventual champion? So I think that's more likely if Kelly decides to fight. So there's a lot of moving pieces. There's Takashi Inoue has moved his way back up in the WBO. That could be an option as an eliminator. Other guys, again, Charles Conwell's #5. Chotarali Booker. It's all up in the air. I personally think we might see Zayas just take another stay busy fight, which is disappointing, but that could be what happens. So gotta wait and see. I'm interested in seeing what Zayas does next in 2025. Maybe he returns and takes a stay busy fight at the end of the year. There's a couple big fights coming up, but we gotta wait and see. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on Undefeated Super Welterweight Contender at 154, Xander Zayas. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing, and you've been hit with the truth.